Introducing a new network where you can experience the Olympic spirit every day, showcasing your favorite stars and stories. The Olympic Channel, home of Team USA. Up next, we have another arena race of the day. It is the men's 200 back. Aaron Pearsall has the records in this one, set in 2009. And Pearsall is a hero to a lot of young backstrokers, including that guy, Ryan Murphy. 3 Olympic gold medals of his own in Rio. It's his second long course meet after he won both backstroke events of the NCAAs for the 4th straight year.
Really became the greatest backstroker in NCAA history. Some will argue John Neighbor, and that's a great argument, but never lost a race in that level. Broke so many records along the way. Kind of easy going, sort of like Aaron Pearsall. Very, very calm all the way through his races, just like his hero, Aaron Pearsall.
Ryan Murphy, the senior this year at Cal. In lane 1, we have Curtis Ogren, a
this
junior
is your
this year
men's 200-meter backstroke championship finalist.
He was born at Stanford
in lane
Hospital.
1 from Stanford
lane
Swimming.
2, Richard Boas,
Curtis
is senior this year at Arizona State, 2-time Olympian for Hungary.
In lane
London
2 from
and
Arizona
Rio.
State University Swimming,
Abram
Richard
Devine, sophomore
Boas.
this year at Stanford. Junior national team member
In lane 3 from Stanford Swimming, Abram Devine.
In Tokyo and Singapore in 2014. Grigori Tarasevich of
in
Russia.
lane 4 from Cardinal Aquatics,
Siberia,
Grigori
Rio Olympian was 9th
Tarasevich.
in the 100 back. He swims for Louisville
In lane
this
5
year,
from California
Jacob
Aquatics,
2 wins
Jacob
and 2 seconds in
Pebley.
the 200 back in the Arena Pro Swim Series this year.
In lane
Like
6,
Murphy, a senior this year at Cal. And then
Ryan
Murphy, who won this
Murphy.
event in Atlanta and has returned to long course swimming by 6/10 over Pebley. That was last month. Corey Main, 22 years old, a Rio Olympian from New Zealand, 14th in the semis of the 200 back in Rio. Andy Song of Mexico, a freshman this year at Cal, is in lane 8. Born in China, raised in Mexico, attended high school in Jacksonville, Florida at the Bowles School. Maxime Rooney, one of the top recruits in the nation, a freshman this year at Florida, primarily a freestyler, but can swim a lot of events. Greg Troy says he reminds him in that way of Caleb Dressel. Jacob Pebley, 5th in the 200 back in Rio, finished 1.5 seconds behind Russia's Yevgeny Relov for the bronze.
Strength of this event, and for that matter, backstroke in general. 5 straight Olympic Games the United States has won, starting with Brad Bridgewater back in '96, Kraselberg in 2000, Pearsall, Lochte, Clary, and then Ryan Murphy. It's just unbelievable the domination that one country has had in both the 100 and the 200 backstroke.
The 2 Cal teammates, the 2 Olympians side by side. Jacob Pebley, the top qualifier this morning. He's between the 2 white lane lines and the white cap. Just below him, the 3-time Olympic gold medalist Ryan Murphy. And you mentioned all those great names, Rowdy, but only one guy, and he's German, Roland Mathis, has won both backstroke events in more than one Olympics. He did it 68 and 72.
You're right. You can certainly argue that he's the greatest backstroker in history. For me, my money will always be on Aaron Pearsall.
The point I'm making, though, is does that motivate Ryan Murphy heading into Tokyo?
There's no question about it. And you notice I mentioned those names. There was a different name every single Olympics. They were all Americans, but nobody was able to go back-to-back in the Olympic Games in the 200. And boy, I love the way Jacob Pebley is looking. He has looked so good all season long. Followed up that great performance at the Olympic trials and the Olympic Games last summer. Has been swimming so well during these Arena Pro Swim Series. And guess what? Just like we top of the broadcast, the 2 teammates going head-to-head once again.
Great last turn for Ryan Murphy. He has a slim lead over his buddy and Cal teammate, training partner, fellow Olympian, Jacob Pebley.
Murphy looking really good, but Pebley has not given up. Now Pebley's hitting that lane line. He is right on that lane line. You can see how it backed him up. Boy, they are both struggling going into that wall, that last 50 on that lane line. And I'm not sure the reason why. They're so used to swimming outdoors, Rich.
That same problem happened to Jacob Pebley at the trials when he was running into the lane line.
Yeah, he certainly did, and that's something you're going to really have to work on. Of course, you're not going to have to work on it that hard because you're going to be swimming indoors in Indy. They kind of smile at each other and go, we're both on the lane line, opposite sides, and here's the start, backstroke. You have to get off to that clean entry, point those toes, and then that great dolphin kick off the wall, in which Pebley and Murphy are so good at. Here's going to the halfway point. They look fine there, swimming right down the middle of the pool. You really have to use your peripheral vision. There's Jacob Pebley on the left, Murphy on the right, but they start to drift. And that can cause you 3 or 4 tenths of a second on each 50. If you're moving over about on that lane line, it can really cost you. And they've both been 155 plus this year alone. And you can see Pebley right there, right up against that line, bumping against it. And then here comes Murphy on his side of the lane line at the end. But nonetheless, they still go 1-2, good swims.
We're joined by Ryan Murphy. Well, long course for Rio, then you had to transition to short course for the NCAA season, and then you won your 4th straight backstroke in each event, the 100 and 200, and then back to long course. How difficult is it making these transitions?
You know, we swim long course all year, so we swim long course and short course all year, so I think it's pretty easy to do both. Obviously, they're a little bit different. Short course is a little bit harder on the lungs, a little bit harder on the legs. Long course is more just about like muscle endurance. So, you know, I think training both, they complement each other.
Talk to me a little bit about swimming that race, especially the last 50. It looked like you drifted over against the lane line. I know you couldn't see Jacob. He did the same thing. Is that something that you've had a problem with, or is that just something swimming outdoors tonight?
You know, honestly, I think I know like the distance I should be from the person next to me. So I think it's like a subconscious thing, like if Jacob's moving over, I'm going to move over just because that distance is decreasing if he's moving over.
Right.
But, you know, I can't really get caught up on that. I need to start swimming my own race.
Well, plus Ryan, you're indoors in 3 weeks, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, thank God.
I know you have the Nationals coming up and then the Worlds, and those are on your mind. We're 3 years away from Tokyo, but you have a chance to become just the second in history to sweep both backstroke events at more than one Olympics. Are you motivated by that?
Of course. I mean, who isn't motivated by history?
Attaboy.
Great job tonight, Ryan.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Ryan Murphy wins the men's 200 back. Maybe not